Millions of Australians are still waiting to fill out their census forms after the ABS website crashed. The Australian Bureau of Statistics and the Turnbull government yesterday released a series of contradictory explanations for the failure of the census servers on Tuesday night, blaming it on an attack, a distributed denial of service (DDoS) attempt, a faulty router and an unexpected spike in traffic from the United States when a geoblock to prevent international traffic reportedly failed. Australian company Revolution It, which was paid to ensure the built $9.6 million census servers hosted at Baulkham Hills, Sydney, would cope with the load of census night traffic, has defended its work. Revolution It director Hamish Leighton said the problems with the census server was not a performance issue but the system was taken offline as a deliberate strategy by the ABS in dealing with a DDoS attempt. Mr. Leighton said the company was contracted to ensure the system could handle the expected load of 260 submissions a second and in testing found it could handle an average sustained peak of 350 submissions a second and peaking up to 400 submissions. All the testing went very well, Mr. Leighton said. Analysis, census fail and then lame excuse. What has happened in this case is a level of traffic that's put through that was way above what would make a site usable. Mr. Leighton said protecting against a denial of service attack was a security issue rather than a performance issue. He said he became aware of the problem when he tried to submit his census form last night online and got the server error message from the ABS along with millions of other frustrated Australians. Despite the failure of the census servers, Mr. Leighton said this could still be a showcase for his company services. There wasn't a performance issue, so if we can get beyond that then what we managed to achieve is quite phenomenal, he said. Prior to census night, the ABS spokesman said the server could handle 1 million form submissions every hour, which was twice the capacity needed. However, security experts believe the site might simply have been swamped when 4 million or 5 million, or more, Australians all sat down after dinner and tried to lodge their census. Drive Mark Gregory, a networking and telecommunications expert from the RMIT University, said the more likely explanation than the government SD's reason for the failure was that the system was not built to cope with the traffic of millions of Australians filling out their forms at the same time. If you've got a system designed for, and all of a sudden 4 or 5 million Australians are going to use that at the same time, that is going to look like a denial of service attack, he said. Drive Gregory said the frustration of dealing with an overloaded server, as people continued to hit refresh, would just add to the problem. ABS chief statistician David Kalish yesterday said there had been 2 attacks before PM. The government says the first attack came at 10 a.m., and a second one came at 11 a.m. 2 further attacks came in the afternoon before the ABS shut down the servers at 7 p.m. When the public tried to connect to the census server, they were told it was busy, with the explanation it was deliberately taken offline only given the following day. The only explanation that the problem was not temporary was at 10 p.m. when the ABS tweeted that the website would not be restored that night. The Australian Census Minister Michael McCormack yesterday said the census servers were not attacked but there were attempts of a DDoS attack. Mr. McCormack's own website was taken down late yesterday following an apparent hack, with someone adding the words gay sex to his website. The Prime Minister's advisor on cybersecurity, Alastair McGibbon, said at the time of the attacks most of the traffic was coming from the United States. A survey last year revealed that 16% of Australians regularly use a virtual private network to hide their real location, with many set up to show they are in the United States so they can access online services available there. Early yesterday, Theories on who was behind the census attack ranged from the hacking group Poodle Corp to Chinese sports fans, with Melbourne University cybersecurity expert Sulet Dreyfus citing upset over Olympic swimmer Mac Horton's sledging of Sun Yang as a possible reason. Don Slattery, senior information security analyst at Webroot, said there was speculation that the attack was by hacktivists protesting the ABS's decision to collect and save personally identifiable information alongside the census for the first time. There were worries that there may be a data breach and this information will become public or used for malicious purposes, he said. The ABS have reported 14 separate data breaches since 2013. But as details emerged, several computer experts cast doubt on the D's explanation, pointing to a lack of evidence of an overseas attack. The Digital Attack Map, a tool created by Google and security firm Abor Networks, does not show any D's attacks on Australia to support the government claim. Drive Gregory said the government would need to provide hard evidence for their D's explanation to be believable. Australian computer science pioneer Roger Reardon, who days before the census publicly predicted total chaos when millions of Australians tried to fill out their census forms online simultaneously, yesterday called the government's explanation unbelievable. Drive Gregory called the online census system a train wreck from the beginning. Special Advisor to the Prime Minister on Cybersecurity, Alastair McGibbon explains what happened with the denial of service in the 2016 census. The system was woefully underpowered, Drive Gregory said. The system was a target from the beginning. Managers were literally daring hackers to attack them. The data now cannot be trusted. If you re-in a web page and you refilling out a form, once you hit the go button you think that the data has gone and it's being sent. But if the server is currently under attack from a denial of service, your data may have gotten through or it may not have gotten through or half of it may have gotten through. There can be no confidence in this data set. I don't trust anything that this lot is saying. Troy Hunt, one of the world's foremost experts on data breaches, said the most likely explanation is that the ABS was just not prepared properly. We need to see much more tangible information from the ABS in order to understand exactly what went wrong, and even they may not know at this time, he said. The real question is, did the ABS have what we would reasonably consider sufficient scale? Based on the attack maps we are seeing, it is unlikely that it was some sort of unprecedented scale. I think that the more likely explanation is that they just simply weren't prepared. This is probably not a large attack. It is probably a smaller attack if it was an attack at all. Australian Privacy Commissioner Timothy Pilgrim has launched an investigation into the census fail. Prime Minister Turnbull has announced his own investigation into the census failure.